Hello everyone. I thought I'd give a short overview of the signature assignment for this class, which is the Business and Educational Leader interview, which is due during the week 4. So again, by that Sunday night of week 4. The interview is designed to interview both a business leader, somebody outside of the education arena, and then an educational leader. So when looking at a business leader, I would suggest somebody at a management level. It can be any kind of organization that you would like, from food services to finance, from IT to retail. It really is an option for you to choose whoever or whatever works, but you do want to look for somebody that's at a management level, at least when looking at the business leader. And then an educational leader want, again, that admin level or higher is where we'd always like to go with your administrator, assistant principal, dean of students, or you can look at your department chair or grade level lead if you would like, or go to the district office level, look at somebody as a coordinator of curriculum or director level if they have the time as well. But those are the two different individuals that you're looking to interview. Now, some students, when I've taught this course before, have asked, what kind of questions should I ask specifically? With that being said, I would guide you to look right here at each interview's what to discuss in the paper itself, and you're going to see these points right here, these A through F points. And again, really it's starting with that. How do each of these leaders define their philosophy of leadership that they follow to lead in their organization? Asking them what characteristics that each of them have that help them lead others, and you might hear that come from both the organization that they work for as well as the philosophical of who they are and those characteristics. So asking that question. And then what strategies they use to cause positive change to those that they lead. And then looking at here, this question is more for you, the similarities and differences, but I've had some students ask different leaders what they see as the similarities or differences in leading in the business arena over the educational arena. And then the next question, looking at how they maintain their integrity, motivation, and that balance of health in everything that they do. And then you'll close your paper with personal vision for successful leadership, reflecting on what these leaders have shared. It's very important that your focus really do pertain to these areas, as this is what's being graded on when we look at the rubric. I would expect each interview to be 10-15 minutes at the most. Again, it can be longer if you're finding that it's a successful interview and things are going well for you, but plan on, if you haven't set up that interview, to be 10 or 15 minutes. So with this being a signature assignment, it really is trying to make a connection to the capstone experience that you'll have at the end of your coursework. Part of that is interviewing individuals and recording their information, and then connecting it back to research that you might have. This particular paper isn't asking for direct research, but knowing what we've read already about leaders and their characteristics, you can make that link from the reading that you've done, as well as directly quoting what these leaders have shared in their interviews, which will reflect when you get into your action research, when you're interviewing individuals or taking from surveys, being able to put their data into written work. So that's the connection to the capstone work that you're doing. With the signature assignment always comes a direct rubric. So if you look at the rubric points here, we're looking at the definition and philosophy of leadership from the individuals. So definitely want to give that information in the paper. The characteristics they share and strategies to help lead effectively. Again, connection to what I just talked about, making sure those are the questions that you're asking. You will get reflective in looking at the similarities and differences between leadership and business and education. You can quote them as well on top of what you've read from your text. How each leader maintains their integrity, motivation, and good health while serving as the leader. So when I start thinking of the flow of the paper, you can start by summarizing what each individual has shared with you during the interview, or break it up into headings where it's directly, here's the definition or philosophy of education, philosophy of leadership from the perspective of the business world, perspective of education. And the next section or next heading would be characteristics and strategies. If you can see that, breaking each of these points down into headings would also help guide your paper as well. With that, look at including in closing your personal vision of leadership in schools today. What impacts I would ask that you can take away from interviewing the business leader as well as the educational leader, and seeing the comparison of the two and how that influences your vision for schools. Really make sure that you include references about leadership from the text of the weekly reading like I've shared, as well as quoting from your interviewees as well. And then the reminder is your writing style should be such that there is no grammatical errors, your punctuation, capitalization, verb tenses should all be in agreement when looking at that writing style. In APA format. So Concordia has given you an APA format that is on the Blackboard shell. If you click on the APA, you will have the APA paper guide, which literally you type into, which I've seen for some of you in looking over your first paper. But remember to go back and use that, as well as the reminder it's a double space is what's expected in APA, even in your reference page. The reference page will start with on left justified, but remember the next line of the reference will be indented. We'll have a 5-space indent to it, and that will follow if there's multiple lines for listing your reference. So remember, all of this is double spaced. If you are going to use a running head at the beginning of the paper, please remember it should be 50 characters, and the title page should say running head : and then the 50 character title, running head title. It's a summarization of the title of your paper. It doesn't have to be the entire title. Also remember, when looking at quoting individuals, use your APA guide, or I would send you to the Purdue OWL site to give reference on how to quote somebody or cite somebody throughout your paper. So that in a nutshell is what we're looking for in your educational and business leader interview. Paper is expected to be a minimum of 4 written pages from the interview and the reflective piece that's been asked of in the rubric. I would tell you, if you start going over about 6 pages, you're not condensing your words or the words of others, and that's something you definitely want to practice, is getting it condensed to a solid written piece that doesn't have to include lots of details to get your information across. Again, I want the information across, but not with all this extra information that can be condensed. So just that reminder to you as well. As always, give me a text, phone call, or an email if you need any support with this paper, and I will be seeing it by Sunday night of the 4th week. Thank you.